Feeling that flow state gives you almost like a superpower, really, and that connects something in your brain to release all these emotions and negativity. And it's just become a really, really important part of my mental health and being happy with who I am.
I've never felt such a state of happiness when I am mostly just by myself playing with my hoop. I'll unlock different things I've never done before. Think, what the heck is that coming from? So I went to my first drum circle September 26th, 2013. Picked up a hoop there, really liked it. And I was in therapy at the time for like anxiety, depression, OCD, and I told my therapist about hula hooping, and she said it's actually a really good coping skill, especially for OCD, because it helps distract the mind and the body when you're using the hoop. And then it became like my #1 coping skill, and it's been with me ever since. I'm Tina Caleras, I'm 25 years old. I've been hooping for 8 years now.
Our society makes us want to grow up and feel like we're not supposed to do such simple things like play with a plastic circle. But if playing with a plastic circle makes you feel good and makes you not anxious or not depressed or makes you feel confident, then play with it.
Flow is when discipline and practice meets like surrender and being at one with the moment. So when anything that you have practiced to a great degree, in this case, spinning props, if you have that practice and then you're able to step outside of that just like masculine energy discipline entirely and then kind of merge it with that feminine, you can reach this space where you're performing in such a way that like it's not so much you doing it as it is you're a channel of expression. For many years I've been interested in meditation and didn't really know how to start with it. Flow arts has impacted me in the way that it's given me a more appropriate for an ADHD mind form of meditation. It's really cool when you have something that you feel like you're good at that is really pretty to look at and makes you feel pretty. So that's a cool opportunity to realize your own beauty and be able to share it with people. I'm Joe, I'm from Cincinnati. I've been doing flow arts for about 3 years now.
My favorite thing about the community is definitely the kindness that is within it. People are constantly trying to uplift each other and just make everyone feel super confident in what they're doing. It's never a competition when it comes to our community. We all think we're the best together. Flow arts has brought tons of opportunities in my life, especially here recently. I have done 2 music festivals locally here in Ohio. This Valentine's Day, I'll be performing at like a 6-course dinner kind of thing with the circus group. I've taught Girl Scouts, I've done birthday parties, I performed at local bars, tons of things, and I hope for more. My name is Gracie Pruitt. I'm from Middletown, Ohio. I'm 22 years old, and I've been hooping for about 3.5 years now.
Flow arts has brought quite a few opportunities into my life. It's basically a workout. It's made me not feel like I'm just sitting around all day. It's made me more active. It's brought me performing. It's brought me performing gigs, I should say. We've paid our rent one or several months, like just fire performing for people out at their houses or events, things like that. So it's brought me financial gain, it's brought me peace of mind, it's brought me some of the greatest friends I've ever had. I burn myself all the time with fire. I've got scars all up and down my arms. It's just something you kind of get used to. It's so worth it. A burn will hurt for a little while and then go away and maybe leave a cool scar. That's about as worst it can do. If that means I can have therapy for my being all the time for a little burn here and there, pain goes away. External pain goes away. This flow helps me get rid of my internal pain. My name is Shane Dunn. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been flowing for about 5 years now, I think. Fire performing for about 4.
Being in the flow state is the realm between the spiritual and the physical world, and there is no better description than that, because when you reach a flow state, you're completely blissful, and you just like, it's almost like you're not here, like you're not in the physical reality, because you're so immersed in the activity that you're doing that it becomes spiritual and it becomes euphoric. Euphoria is the best word to use for that. The word flow to me means constant movement, constant effortless thought pattern. It doesn't even have to be just in flow arts, but like if you're playing guitar and you don't think about the chords that you're hitting, that's flow. Or if you're writing a book and you just get on this constant path of words, that's flow, because it's just spitting out. If you're playing piano, like it's all the same, just effortless thinking, really. Like a body of water, how a body of water flows. It doesn't need anything to push it. It doesn't need any help. It just goes.
So I first started flow arts in high school. I was in the color guard where we would spin our cool flags and rifle and saber and dance, and that was the origin of all the prop manipulation. After color guard, I started going to festivals and shows and meeting all these cool people, and that's how I really got introduced. And it's really grown since I first started, but it's really cool to see everybody just finding their own flow. My favorite thing about the community is the people, first and foremost, and all the connections that I've made. I think sitting here today, all the friends that I have are true flow friends, and that's my tribe. My name's Sam Shaw. I am from Cincinnati, and I've been flowing for about 4 years.
Flow state makes me feel freedom, limitless, like whatever I'm like pent up emotions I've been feeling recently finally just kind of gets released. And I found this video on YouTube, this person like with fire, and they just look so awesome and menacing and like badass and everything. And I'm like, dude, I want to do that. And so I found this group or gathering of some sort down in Cincinnati, Flow Arts Collective. I came in and I'm just like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Everyone has these toys and everything, and I don't know what any of them are. And so I was just like this shy little bean and walking in, and like this person comes over with this dragon staff, and she's like, hey, what's your name? And honestly, it was just, that's how it kind of started. I'm Riley Tuchfarber. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I've been doing flow for 4 or 5 years.
We talk about flow as in flow arts. You know, it's not just prop manipulation. You know, you can become aware of this mindset that you seek as far as flow goes. And when we speak of flow in the terms of movement, you know, it all kind of comes back to always moving forward in something, or constantly shifting patterns and cycles. Flow is always, it's been this word that is used to kind of universally describe what that is, and it's kind of a mission for most of us in movement arts to kind of seek this out. What is flow? You know, that's really what the question is. You get into this pattern, you get into this feeling of accomplishment, and you just kind of want to stay there. It's almost like this high you reach. The flow state is quite the magical experience. I used to have pretty severe anxiety and depression, and when we go back on the question of what is the flow state, I think part of that unlocks certain areas of the brain that kind of combat that depression, that anxiety. And so I've noticed a huge shift in my mental awareness. because when you try and include mind, body, and spirit in any type of art form, be it flow arts or sports, music, singing, dancing, acting, you know, you start learning parts about yourself you didn't know were there, and it's kind of intimidating at first, but then after that, you start to, like I said, be aware of these things. It's kind of like a form of self-therapy. You know, when you get down to it, it's like, okay, like I had a bad day in the aspect of flow arts, I'm just gonna pick some props up and just chill for a bit. You know, I'm gonna, instead of sitting there and festering in that bad mood, you get up and you just start moving. You convert that energy into something that is, you know, you don't hate, you recreate. You know, that's kind of the phrase I use, you know, when I teach my classes is, you know, someone gets upset because they can't get a move. I'm like, you know, don't be upset that you're upset. Just use that emotion to kind of recreate something out of that, you know, and kind of, like I said, unlock certain things in the brain. My favorite thing about the flow arts community as a whole is anyone can be a part of it. That's honestly my favorite thing. Like, this was years ago, into Burning Man, and I saw this conclave group, and it was this group of people I looked at, and you go, I never would have been able to tell that that person was into flow arts. You know, it's almost like this mysterious identity, because sometimes you can tell physically if someone's an athlete. You can tell physically if someone's a dancer or an artist, but most of the time, physicality isn't really the big issue or a big part of flow arts. Like, anyone can pick up a prop and start spinning it and learn something and learn a movement. It's created a great community from ages 4 to 40 to 80. One of my oldest students was 75. He came to one of my classes, and it was amazing. I had 5-year-olds and a 75-year-old, and they were both learning the same movement at the same time. And they actually started talking and teaching each other, which was great. Just the inclusion, the constant inclusion. It's always there, and flow arts is always bringing more and more people in from all walks of life. My name is Gabriel Alexander Ford. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I've been in the flow arts community for 22 years.
My favorite thing about the flow arts community is the connectedness that we all have. We're all so on the same wavelength. Even if you're not like the same kind of person, you can bond on the fact that you play with toys and it makes you feel so connected by your body, mind, and soul. Something so simple and something you would like think that would be a kid's hobby. It fuels your inner child. It makes you feel a complete state of bliss. Like, it's something that is very unique and different, and I think that's what makes anyone that falls in love with it so in love with it, is just that it's so different, and it's almost like a secret community of like magic, and you don't even like realize that what you're doing is magic, but it truly is like the closest thing in reality that I can say feels like a magic power. When I first started hooping, I was like fresh out of high school. I was pretty insecure back then because I feel like I wasn't really my authentic self. I remember like not wanting to post videos of it, being like really self-conscious of what people that I went to high school with would think, or like even my family, because like if you don't know about it, it seems pretty odd to be hula hooping all day. And so I think I was just really worried about what other people would think, which is funny because that is the biggest thing that this art form has helped me get over, is caring what other people think. Like, the biggest struggle of starting was that, and it's probably the biggest thing that's healed it, so it's just ironic. Flow arts has impacted my life in a plethora of ways. It's impacted it like for opportunities, it's impacted it for my mental health, my physical health. It's brought new people into my life. It's brought me a completely different mindset When I started hooping, I really started my like spiritual path too, and it's just been like 2 consistent paths at the same time, and I have become a completely different person than I was before I started. So I think that's the biggest way that it's impacted my life, is that it's impacted the essence of my being, like actually doing things that feel good for me and not things that I feel like are normal, because it's pretty much the opposite of normal, honestly. It's so important to just be yourself, and this is just a way of giving you that authenticity and feeling like you are being completely yourself and you're not being held back by anything is possibly the #1 thing to give you a happy life. It's the biggest way that you're going to live on earth and be content with your life. You're not gonna feel like you're trapped in a society where you're forced to work and make money to live. Like, you're here on earth to live and to feel good and to have fun. So doing whatever makes you feel that way is what's most important. Even though, yeah, it's important to make money and live, you can't do that unless you're happy and unless you want to be here. So you gotta want to be here. My name's Sophie Seay, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I've been flowing for about 3 years now. And those have been the best 3 years of my life. And that's what flow arts is all about, baby.